Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? It is Friday, July 5th. This is Dr. E. Michelle Mickens, the CEO of Live for Change, and I wanted to touch bases with you all. It's been a while since I've gone live, at least on my Facebook page. So I thought I would check in to see how is everybody doing mid-year, third quarter. I know there was a scare for some who experienced some hiccups with Facebook. It's so dark, and I have a ring light, and I hate this ring light. I'm live, y'all, and I'm shiny. Woo! It is, I don't know if it's 90 degrees yet, but it feels every bit of 90 degrees. And can you hear me? I hope I can be heard. So I'm struggling with this ring light. I don't like it to be dark. I don't want my phone to, fall apart while I'm trying to talk to you guys. But nevertheless, I'm going to speak up a little bit. I wear these head wraps because it kind of keeps me cool, believe it or not. But I'm just tripping out on the glow that's here. But I'm going to keep it moving because it's been a while. Like I said, I want to touch bases with you, and I think I have some information that's going to empower you as you continue to trek through the rest of this year. I know I was saying earlier, some people were a little shaken and disturbed by the outage. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you how it affected me when Facebook and IG had their issues. I thought it was my internet service. That's how clueless I was. So I was frustrated with the whole process because I try to post every day, and I try to post several times a day on different social media platforms. So Instagram and Facebook being those a few of them. So I just, I said, you know what, I'm going to chalk it up. And I noticed that I had no problems with Twitter. I had no problems with my LinkedIn posts, but it didn't dawn on me. I just decided that I would do some other things to work in my business. So I'm very curious to know, what did you do to keep things moving? I'm talking to leaders, I'm talking to business owners, especially those who rely on social media as a primary source for connecting with your audience. So today, I'm not going to talk a lot about the importance of having alternatives, because that's really business strategies. That's not my area of focus. My area of focus is about building leaders. But I do know that even from a leadership role, if you're an entrepreneur and you are a solopreneur like myself, many of us are in a situation where we take advantage of and rely a lot on the social media platforms. So it's important, though, to have alternatives. Hello, how are you doing, my friend? Craig Bell in the house. I appreciate you. So listen, if you're a replay viewer, because I always get a lot of you guys, please, if there's any information that I'm sharing with you, by all means share with others, because sharing is a form of caring. So again, today I'm going to do my best to be brief, but there's some very key nuggets that I want to share with you. And many of you who follow me on a regular basis you've heard me talk about elevation, right? You've heard me talk about the importance of knowing how to position yourself for elevation. But it's also important to know what needs to be eliminated before you're going to be elevated. So it's mid-year. Again, my question to you is, how are you reaching your goals? Have you met your goals so far this year? And what are you doing to position yourself to be ready to meet your goals as you move forward? And as a leader, you understand that it's so much more than just reaching your goals, right? So it has a lot to do with your mindset. It has a lot to do with your mindset. I know that for many of us, we start the year off strong. We start the year off with a list of things that we want to see accomplished before the end of the year. And so this is something that I recommend to my clients on a regular basis, that you have to do a checkup. I recommend that you're doing a checkup at least quarterly, if not more frequently, to see, are you the only one moving in that direction? Do you have your team moving in the same direction? How are you communicating what it needs to be accomplished by what period of time, right? If you're not having these conversations on a regular basis, then you really shouldn't be disappointed if you're not where you need to be by mid-year, right? So that's one thing. I want to encourage you to start taking inventory. What was working well? What did you establish since the beginning of the year that by mid-year was helping you to stay on cue, to stay on point? So that's important. Take inventory. The other thing I want you to do is to start paying attention to how you're thinking, because this is something that we don't always think has an impact on our team. But mindset is everything. If you, on a personal level, aren't figuring out how to keep yourself, your mind renewed, to keep yourself positive, to keep your energy, your motivation high, then if you're not doing that, you are bleeding off into your, and I know that was a strong word, but you are leaching out into your team how you feel and how you think. And trust me when I tell you, if you have any toxicity in you, it is spilling over into your team. So why am I coming so strong? Because this has been a huge topic of concern. If you are, picking up a newspaper, if you are abreast on what's the hot topics in HR, toxic leadership is one of the number one issues that actually is destroying teams. Number one issue that's destroying teams, and it's hindering you from accomplishing your goals. And that is being toxic. But where does that stem from? It comes from what's on your mind. Because what's in your heart comes out of your mouth. Who you really are, it's going to come out. I know many of us believe that we can put on the face and we can put on the air, and we carry this attitude that no one can really see who you truly are, but it does come out. You can't mask it. So if you don't love people, for example, and you're always around others, they can tell whether or not you're genuine. They can tell whether or not you are authentic. If you do not engage with your team, if you don't keep the lines of communication open, they feel that you are aloof. They find it difficult for themselves to understand where you're coming from because you don't engage with them. If you are a dictator and all you do is tell them what they need to do, you don't roll up your sleeves and jump in and show them how to do, they find you to be ingenuine. They find you to be a fake. And you're losing talent. You're going to lose good talent because nobody is going to stay in a toxic environment. No one is going to stay in a toxic environment. So I want to encourage you to check your mindset. What do you do on a daily basis that's going to feed your mind, that's going to cause you to be positive, that's going to keep you at a level that's encouraging, that's going to build your team? One thing that I always talk about is the importance of renewing your mind daily. And how do you renew your mind? What I do is I read the Word of God, and I don't read randomly. I read very strategically. If there is an issue that I know my team is facing, last week, those of you who follow me, as a matter of fact, I know a few of you who are part of the mastermind. So you'll catch this on the replay. Those of you who are part of my mastermind group, one of the big issues that came up was dealing with other leaders. So leaders who are dealing with leaders that don't have a renewed mindset, dealing with toxic leaders, and how do you deal with that? And so when you're very strategic in the word, when you're very strategic in your prayer life, you can actually build yourself to the degree where their toxicity does not bleed over into you. You are in a position where you can pray for the mindset of that leader who has a tendency to be abusive or who is disengaged. Whatever that mindset that is contrary to where the organization is trying to go, you can actually pray against that spirit, against that mindset, because mindset is everything. How many of you all would agree? Mindset is everything. So one of the things that you want to do is to pay attention to those who are in your circle, your sphere of influence. How many other leaders do you work with? One of the reasons I mentioned the mastermind. So this mastermind that I have is for women, executive Christian women. It's called Time to Get Real. And every time I mention the word real, it's an acronym for Reliable, Ethical, Authentic Learner. That is a trademark that's part of my overall Be For Real leadership series. And I mentioned the mastermind because it's so important to surround yourself with someone who has a mind like yours, who honors the Lord, right? If you're a Christian, you want to be around other Christians. And it's difficult if you're in an organization that you're not the founder, you're not the one who set things in order. If you're stepping in a leadership role, then often you're stepping into things that are pre-established, and it's up to you to carry things out. So you're not always in a position to have that great influence of how we're going to serve the Lord in our business, right? So you need to find a way. How do you connect with someone else who loves the Lord like you? They don't have to think like you, but they are like-minded in the fact that they understand when you honor God first, it sets the tone for your organization and it sets the tone for how you're going to function. So one key reason why I mentioned the mastermind is not too late for women who are interested to be a part of it. It just launched last week and we had our first meeting. And so we have another meeting that's coming up July 13th. And the ladies, it's a very select group. The ladies who are interested in being a part, the ladies who are already a part, I should say, they're seeing the value instantly because we hunger for that, right? We hunger to connect with people who are on the same page as we are. So I'm putting in a plug, and to learn more about the mastermind, you just click the link that is in my description bar, www.linktree/live4change, and in one of those links you will find information about Time to Get Real. So I'm talking about where are you right now as it pertains to mid-year. Are you on point? Are your goals smart? You hear that all the time, right? It's so dark. I keep struggling with this ring light, y'all. See what happens when I put the ring light? I can't stand it. It is a distraction, y'all. It's a distraction, but I'm going to keep it moving. Oh, Lord Jesus. Anyway, I'm going to keep it going, but I know it's dark, so I'm going to ask you to forgive me. Oh, forgive me. I would take my glasses off, but then I won't be able to read, and it's important for me to stay on point, right? Okay. So, I'm going to ask you, do you have a strategic plan? I mentioned that we have SMART goals, right? Very specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-framed goals. And that's phenomenal, right? But it's what you're trying to do in your organization and how you move it forward, how you increase productivity, how you perform at a high level. It's not just about reaching goals, right? I'm going to ask you about your strategic plan, because within that plan, there should be goals. Your goals should come from an overall plan of action on how you're going to execute the strategy for your organization. So mid-year, this is what I've seen happen over and over and over again. if you find the strategic plan, right? I'm going to call it out because I already know. Some of you all are not looking at your strategic plan. You're frustrated. And this is what I know happens all the time. A crisis occurs, right? Something happens that throws a monkey wrench in your flow. January, you're trekking cool. Everything is moving and you're feeling good. Life is good. But come mid-February, March, that first quarter, some hiccup happens and it throws you off your game. Now, this is how the enemy works. Something maybe is happening externally outside of your industry, or it may be an industry change. I know that what is it, AI, right? Artificial intelligence. There are many industries that are feeling threatened. And so my question is, what do you do when there is a threat that's coming to you in your industry? Because if you pull back, draw back in fear, or ignore the shifts that are coming, because they're already there. It doesn't even matter how technically savvy you are, getting all tongue-tied. You're going to find a challenge that's going to threaten where you are as an organization. And any time you allow that threat to cause you to be reactive, you put your organization at risk for failing. It may not happen immediately, it may be a gradual risk, but if you are reactive instead of taking a breath, going back to that strategic plan, does that plan help you address unexpected issues, right? If you are not in position to address that, then that's something that needs to be dealt with in a very strategic way. You can't afford to be reactive. And this is what I know about leaders. We find ourselves operating in fear. And fear causes us to draw back. And we don't divulge the concerns that we have. We carry them. We carry those concerns because we want to maintain this persona that we've got it all together, that we can handle this change. Change is going to come, and you cannot absorb that change by yourself. You're doing a disservice to your team. You really are, because you know something they don't know, because you haven't shared what you've learned, what you see that's happening, or you're only sharing it with perhaps another leader, but you're not giving your team an opportunity to help solve the problem. I feel that I'm jumping a little ahead of what I wanted to share today, but this is a critical venture in your leadership walk. You really want to pay attention to what's changing in your industry. Look at the talent that you currently have. Look at your resources and do a reassessment. So every 3 months, you want to reassess where you are. This is critical. When you come from a place of awareness and continuous planning, now you don't want to, there's something to be said when you're planning and planning, because then you don't execute. So that's another issue for another day. But we're looking at what needs to be eliminated so that you can be elevated. What do you need to change so that you can keep moving forward? Don't allow what you didn't accomplish over the first 6 months to be the same thing that hinders you for the next 6 months, right? That's what I'm really talking about. So if you have not done so, my challenge to you is take inventory. That's number one. In the process of taking inventory of where you are with your goals and where you are with that strategic plan, pull it out. If you don't have one, then you need to contact me so that we can sit down with your board and with your team and create a state-of-the-art strategic plan. Yeah, I said that. a state-of-the-art strategic plan that's going to propel you to your next level so that your organization can truly elevate. But the mindset, that's the next thing. The mindset, you need to check, and that probably should be the other way around. You probably need to check how you're thinking and how you are handling change. There's personal change, right? Things happen in your life that you truly didn't expect to happen. If you don't deal with that thing right, no matter how cool and awesome you think you are, your team is going to know something is off. They don't need to know every detail of your business, but it's a good practice to share and open up. I experienced this and I'm dealing with that. There's a deeper appreciation when you are able to have some engagement with your team and letting them know you have a personal issue that you're dealing with and that you're going to overcome, because that's your goal. You're going to deal with it. And you're not going to allow it to dictate how you're going to move your organization forward, right? But you need to be authentic. You need to be open, because these are teachable moments for your team. They're watching you. They're watching how you show up. They're looking for that real, authentic leader to show up and to help them. They're dealing with their own personal issues. If they see that you know how to show up, to come to work fully engaged, they're going to do the same. They're going to mimic you. So, what's the first thing? Inventory. Take inventory of where you are. Mindset. Mindset is the second thing. And I really think it probably should go in reverse. But those are the top two things that you really need to take a look at. And while you are looking at your strategic plan, if you realize that we are not in position to absorb this change that's coming to fruition or that is hitting our organization, then it's time to have that come into Jesus meeting where you pull your board in and every other stakeholder and say, you know what, we need to make some significant changes so that this strategic plan doesn't become antiquated, right? It should be a living, breathing document that you should go to and update as needed. You don't need to rewrite the entire plan, heaven forbid, but you should at least be familiar with it enough and use it as a guide. It is your roadmap. When you don't use the strategic plan, and many of you all pay thousands of dollars, and you go through all this training on how to use the strategic plan and to do it correctly, only to leave it on a shelf, then if you're not using it, it's like driving without a map. You don't know where you're going. And your people, they don't know where they're going. And they're just existing, trying to get something done, but they don't understand how they fit in. They don't understand their own value. They're just moving in motion. Some of them with the time frame of, I'm going to leave this job any day now. So you're going to have good talent leave quickly because they have no idea where they're supposed to go. They don't know what's going on. They know something is up. And you're not having that dialogue. You're not communicating with them. This information that I'm sharing with you, Elimination Before Elevation, is actually a blog that I had written a few years ago. And if you want to read it more fully, I recommend you go to the Linktree /Live for Change, and under the blog section you will see, you just scroll. Once you click that link, it'll take you to the blog page and you'll see several blogs, and you'll find the link that is elimination, the blog post that's Elimination Before Elevation. So I wanted to point those things out because, again, we're talking about where are you mid-year? What are some of the things that you need to shift? What are some of the things that you need to revisit? And then what are some of the things that you need to eliminate so that you can position yourself so that you can position yourself for success, right? Or you can reposition yourself for success for the rest of this year, 2019. Consistency. Consistency is king, right? On Anchor FM, I did a podcast on the importance of creating an experience for your customers. And in creating that experience, you want to make sure that you are offering consistency. Consistency is not frequency. Many times we get that twisted. We believe that if we show up every day and we're doing the same thing every day, that frequency is king. It is not. The quality is found in your consistency, right? If you love to eat grits, you know that you don't want runny grits every day. I'm laughing because I'm not sure why that popped up in my head. Grits, there's a consistency. You don't want them all knotted up, right, with lumps in them. You expect grits to not have lumps and not be watery. You want a consistency. I think was that for you, Craig? That was for somebody out here watching this video. Because there's an expectation when we go to a restaurant that we frequent on a regular basis. Now, we may go frequently because we like the consistency. We like their customer service, right? We like that lemonade no matter where we go to get that lemonade. It may be a franchise. When we have that lemonade, we expect that consistency to be the same everywhere we go. Now I'm referencing Chick-fil-A. I have a link. It's my link tree, Live for Change. I'm reading Eat More Chicken, Inspire More People, Doing Business the Chick-fil-A Way by S. Trude Cathy. I love this book. So I'm reading, and there's so many nuggets about how to run a business and how to be an effective leader. And consistently throughout this book, Eat More Chicken, S. Cathy talks about how important it is to be consistent. He is very strategic in how he has set this up. They call it the Chick-fil-A way. The model is impeccable. His employees are very loyal. Even to this day, he has passed on. But that model, that structure that he's established is duplicated with every Chick-fil-A franchise. And no one deviates from that. There's a reason why he puts certain things first. He puts people first. He believes in pouring into the people because he knows that's how he's going to get the loyalty. He's taught his operators, the franchisee owners, he's taught them how to find top talent, and he's taught them how to have loyal customers and loyal employees. He treated every employee and taught his operators how important it is to give value to the employees. No matter what role they played, they knew that they were valued. He believed in full engagement. So that's a nugget. It's important that if we're trying to elevate our organizations, that we as leaders are consistent. We treat our employees, our teams the same. We don't elevate one over the other. Doesn't matter what the role is. Let them know that the role that they've been hired to fill, that they were hand selected, that they were chosen because you value them, because you see in them their potential. So you want to build your people up. We're talking about how do you elevate? How are you going to make the rest of this year better than the first half of this year? Be consistent. Give top quality. Give your best. It's good to be able to let your employees see that you are a human. failure is not the worst thing that could ever happen. Failures failures are opportunities to learn, right? If you don't try anything, you won't fail, but you won't get anywhere. Failure is part of growth. It's part of the process. And I'm not saying to, run out and fall flat on your face and say, I failed. But you want your team to see how you get up from a failure. And it kind of goes back to what is happening in your organization or what has happened that may have caused some stagnation. And you're wondering, how come I'm not experiencing that elevation? It's because of that fear factor that most leaders will not talk about. They allow fear, uncertainty, and doubt to seize them. So you can be very real and comfortable with your team and help them learn from mistakes. Give them space to make mistakes. You don't need to berate them. You don't need to belittle them. You don't need to make them feel insignificant. One key factor that Truett repeatedly said in his book, Eat More Chicken, was that he valued and he showed value to his employees. He went out of his way. He hired teams. He worked with a lot of young people. I want to encourage you to read the book yourself. And if you want to get the book, you can go to my Linktree/Live for Change, and there's an affiliate link through Amazon for you to get the book. I made it easy for you. But you just want to help people know that they matter to you. And the only way you can genuinely do that is how you show up for them, what you do for them. Love is an action, right? You want to be loving. It's not enough if you're married and you just say to your spouse, I love you, and there's nothing that you do to demonstrate that love. They don't want to hear that. It works the same way with your employees. Of course, some of you all probably don't run around the office saying, I love you. But if you do love them, show them. Look for ways in which you can demonstrate love. Now, I am going to put a pin on it because I don't even see my clock. I was going to time myself, y'all. I was going to time myself. But a couple of things I mentioned that I want to... My phone will ring during the video. No matter how close I was to wrapping this thing up, the phone is going to ring. And that's all right. I have a voicemail. I mentioned that you want to take a look at where you are right now. That's personally as well as within your organization. As a leader, what are you doing to grow? What are you doing to mature as a leader? How many books have you read? Are you reading articles every day? I have a group, Real Queens Who Lead. REAL stands for Reliable, Ethical, Authentic Learner. Real Queens Who Lead. If you're interested in joining this group, yes, it is for women, for queens. The link is in my Linktree/Live for Change. How to join this Facebook group. One of the things that I encourage them, as a matter of fact, some of them were in one of my classes that I taught a while ago on personal leadership growth. And one of the things that I encourage my ladies to do, and I'm encouraging you all to do the same, read articles every day in your industry, because your goal, your personal goal, is to always be on top of your game, right? You want to be the expert. You want to read books frequently, regularly, daily. I didn't bring my book up here, but I do recommend my book, When Purpose Exceeds Profits. And guess what? It's in the Linktree/Live for Change LLC. It's in that link. When Purpose Exceeds Profits. In that book, it's an easy read. The goal was never to make it like a textbook, but it's a go-to book. It's a leadership guide. It gives you some quick principles. It gives you characteristics and traits on how to be an effective leader, especially in this rapidly changing world. Find quick tools, leadership tools, that's going to help strengthen you and build you. There are no excuses for why you cannot continue to excel and do well. So that is my challenge to you as we move forward through this last half of the year. What are you doing to elevate yourself, grow yourself, mature? We talked about mindset. I have a series, a digital audio series, Bust the FUD Syndrome. And I have a workbook that's part of, this is the FUDS workbook, that's part of this 10 audio sessions. So you get the workbook, the 10 audio sessions, you get my book along with a journal. 10 audio sessions, a workbook, and they're interactive. You get a 30-day journal, and you also get my book, The Leadership Guide. You get all of that as a package, as a bundle that's designed to help you overcome fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Within that series, you will get some very clear tools on how to do SWOT analysis for yourself personally, not just your organization. So it's a combination of personal development and then organizational development. You'll get another tool that's very, very effective on, and I figured out at least how to get you started with doing scenario analysis. So you have a SWOT analysis, a scenario analysis within the workbook, and then the mindset worksheet that helps you do simple steps to begin to address ways in which you can elevate. This is a new season, right? This is still a new month. It's the 5th day of the month. And if you join my email list, and I'm going to close with this, if you join my email list, you'll get for free the first 7 days of the 30-day journal. You'll get that for free just for joining the email list. So, you've got a lot of nuggets, but this is our time to elevate. This is our time to reassess where we are today so that we can be better for tomorrow, so that we can be more effective. I'm Dr. E. Michelle Mickens. This is my chilled day for doing videos of encouragement to my Facebook group, as well as, to my Facebook group. And then I'm going to pop on and I'm going to give some words of encouragement to my real queens who lead. But there are no more excuses. It's always good to take a breath, to reassess, but then it's important to keep it moving. It's important because you're important. God has given you an assignment. He don't want to hear the excuses. How are you using the talents that he's given you? Listen, enjoy your weekend. Some of you all were off, I know, and some of you all had to work. I understand, but I'm here for you. If you want to reach out to me, again, www.linktree/live for change. You can email me directly. You can send me a DM. However you want to reach out and connect with me, I encourage you to do so. I'm here for you. I'm the Leadership Doctor, Dr. E. Take care. God bless you.